What's up, dudes? This is a live edition in Nash Vegas for the Bama game this weekend. We figured we'd get together, throw a little content your way before the games this week. Week 5 of the NFL. We've also got a special guest, Gabe's brother C-Swag, in the building with us tonight. Yes, sir. So we're going to kind of dive straight into it, kind of do a recap of last week's studs and duds. Lots of duds. Some studs. What duds did you have last week? Or actually, let's go positive first. What studs did you have from last week?
Well, Brian Robinson Jr.
Solid.
That was an easy one. No Austin Eckler, so he got the majority of the work. Deontay Johnson, again, the Panthers with Andy Dalton. Xavier Leggett also did well. You could have started both those guys. They both outscored their projection. And also Chuba Hubbard outscored his projections. Yeah. So 3 Panthers players, and believe it or not, would have been on your starting lineup last week. You'd have done really well.
That's hard to believe after that first week of NFL.
Absolutely. And then Jordan Mason, just with that, in that offense, he's putting up McCaffrey numbers. Yeah. So he's still balling. But for what we called, that's pretty much the highlights from the studs for the week. But like Britton said, there's quite a few duds.
Some duds. I'd like to formally apologize to Baker Mayfield. That was really bad. I said that the Eagles were going to possess the ball the whole game, and he wasn't going to get that many opportunities, and he lit them up like a Christmas tree. Yeah. So, Baker, if you ever listen to this, which you probably won't, I apologize.
I got to apologize because I told people to start Johnny Wilson at 3,800, and he ended up getting hurt. And also Elijah Higgins for the Cardinals, Trey McBride. He finally got a start for that team and put up less points than he had as the backup for 3 weeks. Make that make sense? Can't tell you. It doesn't make sense.
Can't make that make sense. And then Rashee Rice, of course. It looks like he dodged an ACL, but he definitely did not play on Sunday.
So. I think the last one's Kyler Murray. I knew Call of Duty came out.
Yeah, Call of Duty came out and it was over.
He's playing COD every night. Ain't no more film study.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
It's COD time.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
Well, let's kind of dive into this week 5, right? So we got a lot of options out there, a lot of injuries. Gabe, what do you see? Cole, we're going to let you dive into this a little bit too, but what do you see right now, Gabe, as value plays of this week?
So the value plays this week at quarterback. I'm going to start out with the highest salaried quarterback on the slate, Josh Allen, 7,700. I still think he has good value there against Houston. Had a kind of a tough game last week, and 4 weeks he's put up 30, 30, and 8, so it's kind of boom or bust, but his ceiling is obviously 30 plus as he's done 2 out of 4 weeks, and I think that game will be high scoring for Buffalo. So I think Josh Allen's a great play, and with the values you have at the other positions like tight end, receiver, this is the week I think I'm going to pay up for a quarterback on a lot of my teams due to his upside. Besides that, you got Caleb Williams. Yeah, he's playing. Is he playing Carolina? I think they're playing Carolina
this week.
So his weapons are back with Keenan Allen like that. Geno Smith against the Giants. That's 3 that I'm probably leaning on the most. With Geno, it's kind of tough. You could run into the Kenneth Walker show like last week where he had 3 rushing touchdowns, but at the same time, DK Metcalf could drop 40, especially long touchdowns. So Geno's a safe play there. He's been really consistent with his output. What you got, B?
So for me this week, I'm going to throw some crazy stats at you. So my value player of the week is Jaden Reed sitting at 6,500. Listen to this.
Quarterbacks, bro. Quarterbacks first. Quarterbacks first. Jumping the gun. Quarterbacks first.
Guys pulled out all those tricks early.
You're pretty excited about Jaden Reed, I get.
I am. I've got some good stats, man. I'm ready.
Save it.
So I've actually got I hate to say this, but I've actually got Deshaun Watson sitting at 5,300. I feel like there's opportunities to be had. I need to pull something
up.
Who's
Cleveland played?
Yeah, who's Cleveland?
Washington,
that's right.
Commanders.
It's late, I'm tired. My brain's fogging. But I think really, if you look at it, Washington's defense has been crappy except for last week.
Yeah. Because Kyler.
Because of Kyler.
Call
yeah,
of Duty.
exactly. Call of Duty came out. He screwed everybody.
Yeah.
But I think Deshaun Watson actually has some value here. I think that there's points to be had against that defense. So that was kind of my value play of the week. He's one of the lowest quarterbacks right now at 5,300. So I feel like there's a good chance that he exceeds that value playing that Washington defense.
Real pass heavy. Jerome Ford catches a lot of passes. They don't really have until Nick Chubb gets back. That offense goes as Deshaun Watson goes.
That was kind of the one I had highlighted, and I like Caleb Williams as well. You talked about him a little bit earlier. C-Swag throwing in the spot.
You just talked about Jaden Reed.
Man.
Give me some Jordan Love. Give me some love.
I do love, but I didn't want to hog the spotlight. But Jordan Love, hey, I'm all in on Jordan Love. He's my guy right
love
now.
Jaden Reed, not love.
If you like the stack, I would go there for sure. I think, man, it's really hard to not go ahead and just pull the stack when you got Jaden Reed as your value.
That's a signal for stack now.
I think last week was a little bit of a weird week for Jordan Love because he was down 28-7 early and had to throw it around a lot. But I could see that he got really hot at the end of the game. I could see that continuing. And then, of course, I like Jaden Reed. So I think Jordan Love's sitting at 6,500. That's not a bad value for him as much as they throw the ball and as many touchdowns as he throws. So I like that, especially with this, as much as I like Jaden Reed this week, which we'll talk about in a second. But I do like Jordan Love for this week as well. Now,
for my pick, oh, dude, hold on, man. My back is killing me. Let me get up real quick. Stretch this out, man, because, I'll be right back. Just hang on.
He's the youngest one out of us all.
I know, man. If y'all can't see that, that's the Lucky Massage Parlor. This week, I'm going with Deshaun Watson at 5,300 for my value pick, and that's a can't miss. These guys have been waiting to break out. They have just been waiting on it. And I got to tell you, one lucky massage, Deshaun Watson can go for 30. You never know. Especially against this Washington defense, man.
Yeah.
I think it's open air and opportunity this week.
Yeah. I've got a couple more. Joe Flacco at the Colts, if Anthony Richardson doesn't play. You saw what Joe Flacco did with the Browns last year. They took him to the playoffs. Got some good weapons there, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce. So if Joe Flacco plays at 5,500 against Jacksonville's dumpster fire of a defense, I think he could put up some numbers there. So that's the end of my quarterback picks.
All right, so let's hit receivers next.
Receivers next, then go to running backs.
Yeah, let me go first.
All right, man. Get it out. Let's go.
I'm excited about this. All right, like I said earlier before I jumped the gun, Jaden Reed's my guy this week. So listen to this stat. When Jordan Love plays, Jaden Reed has scored 33.1 in PPR, and he's scored 27.1 in PPR. The week he scored 33.1, he was receiver number 1, and then last week he was receiver number 2. So in the 2 weeks with Jordan Love playing, which is why you love the stack, we talked about this earlier, he's the number 1 and number 2 receiver. And he's sitting at 6,500, which is cheaper than
about 18 points projected.
Which is cheaper than all top tier producing receivers, and he's sitting at 6,500 with those stats with Jordan Love. So sign me up for that one.
I like it.
Sign me up for that one. Healthy Jordan Love coming back, hopefully. I know he's a little bit questionable, but I think that's just a precaution. But I like Jaden Reed this week. So you next. What you got?
Well, obviously Jaden Reed, great play. If you don't like Jaden Reed, you go Dontavian Wicks, 5,000. Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson, both questionable. Wicks has some red zone targets, and he's been pretty good. I was originally kind of centered in on the Giants receiving core with no Wan'Dale and no Neighbors, but it looks like Wan'Dale Robinson's going to play. So he's about 5,600. I think he's still got good value there if he's healthy. But I'll be honest with you, staying away from anybody with Daniel Jones. But hey, that's a topic for another.
I ain't mad at Danny. He saved me week 2.
No Neighbors there. Neighbors was so talented. I feel like that was helping Danny out.
Sure.
And I don't think Slate is going to be having any 3 touchdown games. So pick him this week.
Pick him.
Besides that, like I said, Michael Pittman stack with Joe Flacco 6,000 by 18 points. His upside is really limited with Anthony Richardson because they go to more of a run-heavy scheme. He's not really a deep threat. That's more of Alec Pierce. But if Flacco's there, Flacco can get him the ball. So I like Michael Pittman there if Flacco plays. And then stack Josh Allen with no Khalil Shakir. I'm talking Keon Coleman, maybe some Curtis Samuel. But if you're feeling real dangerous, Mac Hollins, 3,100, 6 targets last week.
Yeah.
Mac Hollins, he's on the field a lot for that team, mostly for blocking. But, I mean, there's no substitution for playtime. So you got to be on the field to catch passes.
6 targets at 3,100 is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So that's a great play, I think.
I won't spoil the rest of them. I'll let Cole, what you got for value? I'll come back to me. I got even more for you.
Value, I've got an extreme value play here. I mean, I don't want to say it's kind of a risk, but Trey Tucker with the Raiders is somebody that I've started in a lot of lineups. With Devontae Adams out, he's moved up to the number 2 receiver. Jacoby Myers is number 1. So Denver's going to be shading a lot of Pat Surtain on Jacoby Myers and should open up the door for a lot of opportunity for Trey Tucker to get the ball. Last 2 weeks, he's had 9 targets and 6 targets. So he's my value play. I love Jaden Reed with Jordan Love. I think that's a great connection. Those guys are always going to find each other on deep balls. And I think that those are my 2. I also have Michael Pittman as well starting. It's another guy who runs a lot of underneath routes, depends on a lot of yards after catch. So those 3 guys are probably my go-to guys, and Jacksonville just loves letting up big plays, and their defense is terrible. So that's something that we need to watch out for this weekend is those guys. So
well, let me go back unless you got something else. You got anything to see for you? Green Bay Rams game. I feel like it's gonna be high scoring. Like you said, you got Jaden Reed, Dontayvion Wicks. Let's go on the other side. Tutu Atwell has now surpassed DeMarcus Robinson, Jordy Whittington, and Tyler Johnson's number 1 receiver there at 4,900. Like Stafford's going to go to him a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm big on Tutu Atwell this week at 4,900. And then last one, Caleb Williams. I know against Carolina it's kind of shaky, but they got a true number 1 there, DJ Moore. But they got another true number 1 in Keenan Allen at 5,800. Got 11 targets week 1. He's been in and out of the lineup injured. If he's fully healthy, which I think he is, didn't get injured last week, he might dominate some of those targets with in that offense that they're shaking to DJ Moore because he's a little bit more explosive now, Keenan Allen at his age. So if you like that, stack with Caleb Williams.
You like that?
If you like that. Oh, you like that?
Kirko Chains, bro.
Perkcuz.
All right, so let's shift gears here. Try to speed through this a little bit quicker. Running backs.
All right,
what you got?
Quick running back drop down. Devin Singletary, doubtful. Tyrone Tracy, 4,300. He'll be on pretty much every single one of my teams. That's going to be a volume play at a real cheap salary. Catch 6 or 7 passes maybe, do something like that. If they get in a hole early, be a good play. Brian Robinson, questionable. Austin Eckler, 5,600. High volume, high pass catching back. I like that. Last one that I'll say, Trey Sermon. Jonathan Taylor's not playing. 3 down potential, 5,700 against Jacksonville. Like that a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna agree with you on the Trey Sermon thing. If Taylor doesn't play, I like that a lot. I also like DeAndre Swift coming off a great week last week and going against Carolina's rushing defense has been terrible. I think they're in the bottom 5 of the league, letting up 150 yards a game. I really like Swift there at 5,700. That's kind of my value running back I see there. It's a little bit higher as a value, but I do like it there. Cole, you got anything on value running backs?
Value running backs, yeah. I went Trey Sermon for almost every lineup. I've gone Chuba Hubbard in a lot of lineups, and I've gone Derrick Henry in a lot of lineups, mostly because they're all going to get a whole bunch of touches, and that's what I look for in running backs. I'm looking for touches 100% of the way, and if you're getting more than 15 or 16 a game, you're bound to score at least on one of those. So I've definitely gone in my idea of running backs with touches wise and things like that. So
I love it.
My last one, Josh Jacobs. If you're against the Rams, if you think it's all about game script, and sometimes when a team plays bad defense, you want to run straight to the quarterback and the receivers, but Josh Jacobs behind a decent O-line there, he he could dominate the touches and score a lot of touchdowns behind that O-line. He's at 6,400. So that's my fantasy MVP this year. I'm really hoping that this is the week that he bursts out because it's been an absolute sleep fest for the first 4 weeks. So
yeah,
I really need him to break out.
You've been wishing upon a star.
Please, Doc, please. Want to go to tight ends?
Yeah, let's go tight ends here. What you got? Value play.
My value play for this week, I'm gonna give you 2. Colby Parkinson for the Rams, 3,700. He's just starting to get a little more comfortable in that offense. He's only got a couple more weeks before Higbee may make his return.
Yeah.
And I think Stafford, he's getting a little bit higher projected points every single week in fantasy. I think he's getting a little more comfortable with Stafford. And then people are going to hate it, but Dalton Kincaid, I'm doing it. 5,300, baby.
I got burnt once.
5,300 with no Shakir. It's time for the breakout stack.
I feel like
Josh Allen, Kincaid.
I feel like we've been saying it for like 5 weeks, dude. Golly.
It's gotta happen, man. It's gotta happen at some point.
Cole, you got a tight end for us?
100%, man.
I've got 2.
I've got 2, and they're both enemies of the podcast. Dalton Kincaid is the first one. I agree with that. It's time for him to show that he's got something. Like I said last week when Carson Beck was playing Alabama, Carson Beck's got to show me something. Well, it's the same thing as Dalton Kincaid. He's got to show me he's like that. So,
Roll Tide, baby.
That's my number 1. Roll Tide. First off, that's my number 1. Second off, Flo. I'm sorry to say it, you're not gonna like it either. Mark Andrews, baby. Mark Andrews is way too low right now. Way too low at about 4,000 salary.
Yeah.
You gotta. I mean, that's a.
I cannot believe you just said his name.
That is a star tight end that could possibly go off at 4,000 salary, and that can make you make you money.
Absolutely.
But it could lose you money. And
that's John Brown. I'll start Mark Andrews on any team, so I better be dead, buried, and gone.
That's the nature of the beast, man. It's daily DraftKings. You never know. You got to play the guys that are most likely going to possibly go off.
Yeah, he's been a star in the past. This year's just been really, really slow for whatever reason. I'm kind of with you. I still feel like at some point you'll get the vintage.
Hold on. Can I ask you? I got a question for you guys.
No, I got a question. Hey, did you start me on your fantasy team last week, on your DraftKings team?
Do what now?
Did you? You start me on your team last week? You could have, because me and Mark Andrews had the same amount of points.
Well, I got a good question for you. A little trivia question here. Great trivia question here for you. I've been listening to sports radio all week, prepared for this. All right. What out-of-position player has more receiving touchdowns than Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews?
Out of position, so not a receiver. The quarterback just caught a touchdown last week. Who was that?
Goff.
Oh, man, you got it, man. I should have made it a little more difficult. Yeah, man, I was listening to that. And I'll tell you what, Travis Kelce, what a downfall he's had this year. I mean, he's been busy, man. I mean, that guy's been filming shows. His mind is not on football right now.
He always gets a shot in there.
We'll touch on him later.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah, jeez. So the only tight end I had circled for the week at a value is Tucker Kraft. 6 catches last week, 53 yards and a touchdown, and Luke Musgrave is questionable with an ankle. So if Musgrave doesn't play, 3,500 for him, and as much as they're going to sling that ball around against the Rams defense, I'm in for Tucker Kraft. So if you haven't figured it out, I'm high on Green Bay this week, which means they will probably choke. Because, let me tell you a quick story. How low my confidence is at this moment. So
you don't have to tell me. I've heard every week, buddy. I've heard how low your confidence is. I was just texting Gabe the other day about how bad you needed some wins.
This has nothing to do with fantasy football. This is just a personal moment here. Obviously, I'm up here with Gabe. He takes me to the gym. We're playing pickleball. And we get in there, and obviously it's a bunch of old people. And me and Gabe, so we're like, all right, we're about to run this crap. Well, I couldn't have been more wrong, Cole. Not only did we lose, I lost to a man that was 70 years old with 2 knee replacements.
Artificial knees.
2 artificial knees. Ask me how low my confidence is right now. It is
You
an
don't understand.
all-time low. I turned 30 and it all went to crap. So that being said,
yeah, man,
There's
those
levels,
people that are
there's
above
levels.
50, those people that are
There's
above
levels to
50,
pickleball. There's levels.
well, I
pickleball
found
demons. You become a pickleball demon once you get above 50.
out.
It doesn't matter if your knee's bad, your hips bad. You ain't got to move that much. You just got to move that arm.
Close to the bionic man.
It'll humble you, man. I'm telling you, it'll humble you real quick. We actually had somebody. I mean, speaking on that, it's a hard workout. We had somebody in the rec center this past week have a heart attack on the rec center floor playing pickleball.
Oh, that's not funny. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It was crazy. Yeah. So,
Pickleball.
I mean,
Hey,
you
laying
get
lives
into
on the
it.
line.
It's a real sport.
Laying lives on the line, pickleball.
You would, bro. You lay your life on the line. They take it serious.
Golly. We're not I can't go down the other
We're-
rabbit hole, but let's keep rolling.
Yeah, keep going.
All right, so we talked a little bit about values here. Obviously, every week we talk about our core 4, right? So our 4 guys that we're building our lineups around. Cole, I know you've been preparing for this, so I'm going to let you go first. What do you have as your core 4 for week 5?
My core 4 for this week, I've got Deshaun Watson in every lineup right now. Chuba Hubbard, DK Metcalf. I'm trying to figure out the last one. I mean, I've been bouncing back and forth between Michael Pittman Jr. and Derrick Henry. So I think Derrick Henry's going to be the guy. It's going to be the guy that's going to be my 4th one. I think that he's bound to get above 15 touches a game, and I think that the offense right now is really rocking and rolling with him going. So I expect him to have a good game too. So those are my 4 guys I expect to really pop off.
Say them one more time. Deshaun Watson, what else?
Deshaun Watson, Chuba Hubbard, DK Metcalf, and Derrick Henry. I also think with DK Metcalf, Ryan Grubb, known to get the ball to his stars as an offensive coordinator. You look at what Rome Odunze did last year and those other receivers at Washington. He's going to get the ball to the stars. I think he's going to continue to have good weeks as well. So
I like it. I'll go next, Gabe. I'll let you finish us off here. But my core 4 is DeAndre Swift at 5,700, Jaden Reed at 6,500, Trey Sermon at 5,700, especially if Jonathan Taylor's out. And then I have Deshaun Watson, but I've also toyed around with the fact of stacking and going Jordan Love. So I'm not sure 100% who's going to be my 4th man, if it's going to be Deshaun Watson or if it's going to be Jordan Love. But right now I'm kind of leaning Deshaun Watson against that defense. So that's my core 4. What you got?
Yeah, let me set the record straight. I'm not finishing off anybody on this video call, so just clear that up. All right, Tyrone Tracy, 4,300. If he plays, must start. Keep him in the lineup. Trey Sermon, like Britton said, 5,700. Keeping him in. Colby Parkinson, 3,700 for the Rams. Keon Coleman, 4,700. Stacking with Josh Allen. That's my 4 that I'm rolling with this week.
You went extreme value here. I like it.
I go value with my core 4, man. I try to build my teams around value. I mean, I could easily say Josh Allen, but he's proven. I go risky. I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to separate myself.
it's very risky.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see. You might. I mean, you won more money than any of us on here, so probably.
Yeah, I'm trying to separate.
So here's the question too. Now that we've done core 4s, go ahead and roll out your starting lineup for week 5. What do you have?
All right, you want me to go first?
Yes, go for it.
All right. Josh Allen, Trey Sermon, Tyrone Tracy, Keon Coleman, Stephon Diggs, revenge game against the Bills, Jaden Reed, Colby Parkinson, Jordan Mason against the Cardinals defense. And then I'm going with my defensive play. I had enough salary to put the Ravens in there against Joe Burrow. I like the Ravens D. Take a chance on the defense. Make a play for me, baby.
Yeah. I hear you. Cole, what you got?
So I made a whole bunch of lineups here, but my most confident lineup right now is Deshaun Watson at quarterback, Chuba Hubbard, first running back, Trey Sermon, Nico Collins, DK Metcalf, Trey Tucker. Then I went with Tucker Kraft as my tight end at 3,500. I think that's a good pick, Britton. And then Derrick Henry and then the Colts defense against Jacksonville.
No stack with Deshaun?
No stack with Deshaun. I've considered, Amari Cooper's bound to have a breakout game at some point. I just don't see it happening this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you. My starting lineup is similar, Cole, to be honest, so I'm glad that somebody at least is building my confidence up here. I've got Deshaun Watson. I'm riding Kyron Williams again after a decent week last week. Yeah, pause. I'm going DeAndre Swift, Jaden Reed, Deontay Johnson, Nico Collins, Tucker Kraft, Jeff Whittingham, and then I've got the Broncos defense against the Raiders.
So Jordan Whittingham?
Jordan Whittingham, sorry,
Okay.
my fault.
No,
Jordan Whittingham, and then Broncos against the
riding that Broncos D.
yes, against the Raiders with no Devontae Adams. So
All right.
that's kind of what I've got. Optimal lineup. So every week we do 3 receivers, 3 running backs,
Right.
4 receivers, 2 tight end.
Yeah.
And this week, Gabe's already done the research, and we're actually recording this on a Friday, so we have a little bit more information on who's been hurt and who's not playing for Sunday's game. So obviously this could change a little bit too because there's still some questionables out there. But go ahead and give us our first lineup, the 3 running backs. What are we looking at here?
Your optimal lineups will change a lot depending on who's ruled out, like on Sunday midday. But usually the injury report on Friday is pretty indicative of who's going to play heading up into Sunday. So for your 3 running backs, they got Geno Smith at the QB, Trey Sermon, Jordan Mason, Jordan Whittington for the Rams, Wan'Dale Robinson, Dontavian Wicks, George Kittle, Kyron Williams, and the Panthers defense against Chicago, which I don't necessarily hate with how bad that, Caleb Williams has been playing.
Yeah.
So they're kind of predicting that Carolina may get a couple turnovers there. And it's real cheap.
Yeah, and for that first lineup, just pay attention to George Kittle because he's still listed as questionable, and there's a chance he might not play. So just make sure you're looking out for that. We'll update our TikTok channel too. So just be aware that George Kittle is still questionable at the moment.
Possible you could take George Kittle down, cheaper tight end, replace Dontavian Wicks with Jaden Reed.
Yeah,
might be a better play and maybe upgrade your defense at the end. Could be a good switch. 4 wide receivers: Geno Smith, Trey Sermon, Kyron Williams, Jordan Whittington, Dontavian Wicks. Difference, you have Deontay Johnson, George Kittle, Jaden Reed, Broncos defense. So you have 2 Packers receivers in there. Could be risky, but like I said, you could have started 3 Carolina Panthers players last week and been winning. So you're scared to play 2 Packers receivers?
Think about the Thursday night game. You could have started the entire Atlanta offense minus the running backs and been in great shape.
Yeah. Crazy.
All right, 2 tight end lineup.
2 tight ends. Don't recommend it. I'd rather start somebody else in my flex, but you never know. Crazy things have happened. Kirk Cousins threw for 509. 2 tight ends: Geno Smith, Trey Sermon, Kyron Williams, Jordan Whittington, Nico Collins, Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft, George Kittle, Broncos defense. That's what the AI is predicting as the optimal lineup based on their projected amount of points, depending upon their DraftKings salary.
That's perfect. And like I said, just stay tuned. We'll update as needed for people that get listed as out. Games that we like this weekend. I'll start, obviously. Big Packers guy this week. So I'm going Packers-Rams. I feel like there's a lot of points to be had there. I could see that game getting quite a few touchdowns in. So I really like that game a lot. I expect the Packers to light them up, but I don't think that the Rams won't be able to answer and keep pace with them. So that's kind of my game that I've had highlighted for the weekend. Excited about that one. Kind of curious how that plays out for us. Cole, what you got?
I've got Indianapolis and Jacksonville. I think that's going to be a high-scoring game. I think a lot of points going to be put up by a lot of players, and I think that's going to be the one that we need to watch. Hopefully we can get some good carries from Trey Sermon and get some money in our bank accounts.
I had both those games, so just to be different, I'm going to go with another one I had, and that's Buffalo and Houston. Once again, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, no Joe Mixon again, maybe some Cam Akers action. I've been wrong on Cam Akers 2 weeks in a row now. He's getting the snaps, he's getting the ball. They just, for some reason, they can't block for him like they can for Joe Mixon. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. But
well, Allen's
That's
probably a little
mine.
different.
That's the game I'm focused on too.
So a couple games that we've highlighted for you guys. There's actually a lot of good ones this weekend. I'm excited to just kind of see how everything plays out. This is my favorite segment, the no touchy segment. No touchy. So this is kind of where we say, hey, we're not touching any of these players with a 10-foot pole. We have no trust, no faith in them at all. I'm kind of at that point with Dalton Kincaid, but he's not really. He's getting closer and closer to that list. But my no touchies for this week, Gabe and I have talked about this a little bit. Cole, you ready for a stat?
Ready?
Yeah.
Give it to me, buddy.
Patriots wide receivers and tight ends and running backs receiving yards on the season, 558. Kirko Chain's Thursday night, 509 in one game. So ask me if I'm touching a single Patriots receiver or quarterback. Not a chance. That is a no touchy for me. My second no touchy of the week, Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's still listed at $7,600 salary, and these quarterbacks that they're rolling out have been terrible. You almost feel bad for him because they just can't even get him the ball anymore. It's rough. So I'm out on Tyreek Hill until they do some quarterback changes. And then my last no touchy of the week is actually going to be the Houston running backs if Dameon Pierce plays.
Yep.
If Dameon Pierce plays, then you're looking at three guys with who knows who's going to get the touches. Even I can't say this dude's name. What's the guy?
Agumbawale.
I'm going to butcher it every time. He's the one that caught the touchdown pass, not Cam Akers. Cam Akers had more rushing attempts. That guy had more catches.
Yeah.
So it just, you add Dameon Pierce to the mix, I'm out on Houston running backs if that happens. So that's kind of my list for the week. Cole, what do you have no touchy wise for week 5?
No touchy. I'm just going to go with somebody that I've always had a personal vendetta against ever since I started playing this. Deebo Samuel Jr. I can't stand playing him. Every time I play him, he scores about 6 points or 8 points and drives me up a wall. I mean, he kills me, man. He absolutely annihilates me. Another person that I will never play in my life, probably forever, is T. Higgins. I cannot stand playing T. Higgins. And I mean, that's just you might as well take money and burn it at that point if you play both of those guys in the same line.
Oh my God. Do it right.
I mean,
Hey, I got a stat for you, Cole.
get laid on, man.
T. Higgins, 2 touchdown catches.
Higgins, yeah.
You just put the kiss of death on
You just
yourself.
put the kiss of death on yourself.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm perfectly fine with being wrong, but I've sat there on several Sundays and been right, and that's the bad part.
I thought you were going to say Cam Akers for sure. I thought you were going to say I'm out on Cam Akers after what he did to you last week.
I can't be out on a third-string running back. You know, it's kind of like it's your fault. You took the chance. You lost. You played the game. You lost. You know. But yes, Cam Akers did make me lose on season-long fantasy a couple years ago when I drafted him in the 3rd round, and he didn't play maybe 30 snaps the whole year. Shout out to Kyron Williams. But
Well, I'll tell you right now, my no touchy this week is Call of Duty boy himself, Kyler Murray against the 49ers.
Dang.
wow, that's your boy.
Quick.
I'm out. I mean, this is matchup. I mean, you
Yeah,
could
it is
score
a tough
on
matchup.
Washington. Do you think you're going to score on the 49ers? Absolutely not.
That's a very tough matchup.
Give me something else. I'm out on that one. What else do I got for the no touchies here? Y'all mentioned a lot of my no touchy plays. So anybody pretty much on the Cardinals offense, Marvin Harrison, James Conner, I don't like it. I'm kind of out on the Raiders right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm out on Myers, Tucker, just because of the Devontae Adams drama going on, and Denver kind of coming off a big win, and didn't they just beat the Jets?
They beat the Jets, in New York, I think.
Yeah, so I'm kind of out on the Raiders right now, but
And the Broncos defense is just it's so talented.
they're
It's so
consistent, and
good.
it's weird. They're not stacked full of superstars, but
Yeah.
they
play well together.
They play well together.
I'm kind of with you on the Raiders. I think that could be a really tough matchup for them this week,
Yeah.
especially with Gardner Minshew at QB. So.
I'm also kind of out on anybody for for Denver too, just because of I feel like it's Denver when they get in a game, it just turns into a slugfest of defense and
Yeah.
ball control, and they have a lot of low scoring games this year. And Bo Nix, rookie quarterback. So I kind of stay away from the Denver and Raiders game.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That game has the potential to be an all-time rock fight, as they call it.
Yeah.
Just terrible QB play.
That could be Mississippi State and Auburn from a decade ago. That could be ugly for sure. But hey, well, it's been awesome. I'm excited to see what happens for Week 5. Cole, as always, well, not as always because this is your first time joining us, but we appreciate you being with us this week, and hopefully everything works out for us and we don't have to go to work on Monday because we want $1 million. But,
try to get some more guest appearances. Try to get our dad on here. He tries to act like he's the absolute guru, the saying of knowing everything that has to do with daily fantasy. Yet I get 40 text messages saying, "What the? This dude sucks. Why did I start this guy?" Every week. I say the same thing. So.
Oh man, well hey, good luck in Week 5. Hopefully we give you a little bit of information, a little bit of insight, but hopefully it goes well for you. Happy hunting, and we'll see y'all next week for Week 6.
That's right.
See y'all.
Good luck, guys.